Hey y'all! I'm a little early, but I am super excited to talk to you guys. I'm tired. I don't know if any of you guys went to Leaders, but there's this thing called a hangover that you get from when you go to these events, and it's totally not alcohol related, but it's totally true. So I will wait and see if any of y'all hop on. I figured I would try and rock a bun like Kristen does, but I'm not sure I got much going on here. This is my end of the day, I'm tired mom look, so. Okay, I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. If any of you guys are on, say hello. But I do want to go over just vendor events. When I was talking to Kristen, she was like, you know, my girls have questions about like how to find them, and then like when they find them, how to organize them and answer the questions that they have regarding that. So that is what I wanted to go over with you guys, and I was hoping that just to get a little interaction with you guys too. So it's always fun when I know exactly kind of what questions that you have regarding vendor events, so I can tailor that to make sure that you feel like you're getting the information that you need. So say hello, drop a heart when you guys are on. I don't know what time it is. Okay. I'm gonna wait like 30 seconds. Probably not even that, because I'm a total D and I don't like waiting for anything, so I'm being patient here. Okay. I don't know. It's like 8:30, right? It's something like that. I don't even know what time it is. Hi, Kristen. Okay, I was just telling him, I was like, I'm gonna wait for people to jump on, but I'm probably not, because I'm just a D and I hate waiting for people, so I was like, I'll just start talking. I tried to do my little bun like you, but it's not really looking so hot. I look more like a tired mom in a sweatshirt tonight. Okay, so I'm going to just start on so that I know everybody's busy and they have kids and bedtimes and wine time and all that other stuff that we have to fit in our busy mom lives. So I don't want to keep you away from any of that. So I wanted to talk to you guys about vendor events. And I will answer questions if you have any of them, but I want to kind of get through what I wanted to let you guys know. I work a lot of vendor events. I find like vendor events for me are just a really super easy way to make a lot of contacts with my cold market and build my pages and build my businesses really fast. So if you aren't doing vendor events yet, definitely start putting them into your weekly plans to start looking for them. So that's going to lead into our first thing, is that where do you find them and how do you find a vendor event? Now, vendor events are going to come in all different shapes and sizes, you guys. You're going to get the vendor events that have a few hundred people to tens of thousands of people, and you're going to find them all over the place. If you haven't done a vendor event before, definitely start smaller scale. It can be a little bit overwhelming once you start adding in insurance and tax licenses and business licenses and things that some of the bigger vendor events are going to ask you for. But smaller vendor events are awesome to get involved in, you guys. So start looking for them. So where to find them? Call your local schools, call PTO groups, call churches. Get in with all of these locations, because a lot of them are going to do fundraising events or ladies' night out or fairs and events like that for their schools, and a lot of times they have vendor booths available to them. HOA associations sometimes will have them. You know, when they do those big, what do you call those, like garage sales, like they're like a block garage sale or something, a lot of times they'll have vendor booths at those things. And so look around and just see, but call these things and ask them, you know, do they have a vendor event coming up? Do they have a fair? Do they have something where they need vendors at? And they're usually really affordable at those things. They're usually anywhere from like any kind of donation to like 25, 30 bucks. I really have never had a school charge me more. I think one school charged me $45 because I asked for power because I wanted to run a TV. But it's a tax write-off, and it's totally worth it, and the risk is minimal at those ones. So Facebook is an awesome thing. If you guys aren't a member of any of your local vendor event groups, start looking for groups in your area. So just search under groups, and I would just do like vendor events. And then for me, I'm in Arizona, so I do like vendor events Phoenix, Arizona, vendor events East Valley, Arizona, vendor events Mesa, Arizona. Those are like my surrounding areas, and I search for groups that comply with what I'm searching for, and then I just add myself into them. And then you can see there's a lot of times that there's organizers that are in there that are looking for vendors. Sometimes those can get a little competitive with lip sense depending on the size of the event, but it's definitely a good way to get at least on some organizers' lists. And then just if you are diligent and just keep checking those every day when you go on to see if something new's popped up, just reach out. And it's always better to like phone call them if they leave you a phone number, because sometimes even if somebody like else messages them or emails them first, if you call the organizer, they get you signed up before they see those emails. So check your city and state government pages, you guys. This one's big and a lot of people don't do it. So a lot of times your local cities and governments will have government pages, and then they'll have a calendar of events on them. And on that calendar of events, they're going to show every single vendor event that's going on, every single fair, every single chili cook-off, every single biker meeting, every single any kind of thing that's going on. And a lot of times they'll have links, and you can go into these events, and they'll just be an automatic application for you to apply to. Make the application, and then find the phone number for the organizer and immediately call them and say, hey, I just put in my application. I just wanted to I'm so excited to work with you, and I just wanted to get the lowdown and the skinny, and I wanted to make my payment with you right now. They love that, because they're going to be like, oh, this person's on top of it, and she wants to pay me right now, and I don't have to chase her down to collect her $100 vendor fee. So check your city and state government pages, you guys. And with that comes like using Google. Like that seems so like, yeah, of course I'm going to search for vendor events for Google, but people don't use it the way that maybe they should. They'll look for a vendor event, and maybe the vendor event that pops up is like a month away and it's already been booked. We'll start looking for annual events, and then write them down in your calendars. Typically, a vendor event's going to book anywhere from 3 to 6 months in advance, depending on how big it is, sometimes even 9 months to a year in advance. But if it's a big event and you know it's coming up, you can usually find out who the organizer is of the event. You can contact them and let them know, I'm interested in being a vendor on here. If they don't have a standing list, then sometimes you can get put on that, and they'll notify you right away as soon as it does open. Or you can just put it in your calendar and just put a little reminder that says, okay, Latin Dance Festival is the 3rd of March. I need to follow up, put a reminder 6 months before March. I need to put in a reminder to see if there are vendor openings yet. Do something like that. The last one, you guys, this one's kind of silly, but it works for me, is Eventbrite. Okay, so go search Eventbrite for events in your area, and search like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months out, and a lot of times they'll have contact information for vendors on the Eventbrite, for the organizers of the vendor events on Eventbrite, and you can actually contact them and get into their event as a vendor. Sometimes they don't even know that they're looking for vendors, but if like there was like a salsa competition, I'm just bringing this up, but a salsa competition, and I emailed her and I was like, do you ever do vendor booths? And she's like, oh, we have shoes and a lady that does beaded dresses that comes every now and then. I'm like, have you ever had somebody that does like competition makeup or anything like that? And she was like, no, but that would be fantastic. So we got in there. So just like reach out to them and just ask them if they've ever thought about it, or if they do have vendor booths open, get in that way. Okay, so you find one, and what do you do next? So they're going to usually send you an application, or sometimes the application is already on the web page that you find. You want to make sure that you register as Senegence /LipSense, and then you can put DBA or doing business as your business name, but you want to make sure that you are registering as Senegence and LipSense. You also want to make sure that you're contacting the organizer and making sure that you are the only LipSense and Senegence distributor at the event. And if you are not going to be the only one. If they're like, well, we will accept 3 Senegence vendors, you kind of need to start asking questions, because you need to know why they want so many. You want to make sure that the foot traffic is going to be able to sustain 3 of you. You want to make sure that you guys are not anywhere near each other in relationship to the venue. And it can get kind of complicated, because sometimes if one's running a sale or doing something that the other one doesn't agree with, it just causes problems. So really try to work at events. This is just coming from experience. Just try to work at events that you're going to be the only Senegence distributor at, and make sure that you're leaving no room for error, because what will happen is sometimes people will register as a Senegence distributor, and then somebody else comes along and registers as a Lip Sense distributor, and then somebody else comes along and registers as Kathy's Kisses. And the organizer, if they don't know that these are all one and the same, they don't purposely put all 3 of you in the same show, but you guys all registered under different names, so she would have never known that you guys were selling the same products. And just with that comes etiquette. If you ever do find that you're at a vendor event and there is another Senegence distributor there, the polite thing to do is always go and introduce yourself, obviously, and just make sure that you guys are both doing things the same. Your guys' prices should be in line with each other. If you are running specials, just run them by each other and see if the other one has a problem with that, if it's going to become predatory pricing for them. So if you're planning on running a $5 off a starter kit special and she's like, no, I wasn't doing any kind of deals, well then your pricing becomes predatory. So just make sure that you guys get on the same page and be flexible and be friendly, and always appreciate your Sena sisters, okay? So I'm going to say about that, because I think that that's going to be something that's going to be clarified through corporate, I have a feeling, so I'm sure we'll get more clarity on that. So one of the other things is that the biggest things that I get asked are, how do you organize these things? And that can be overwhelming. So it's going to depend on a lot of things. It's going to depend on the size of the event that you guys are running, the time of year, the weather, the location, all of these kind of things kind of come into play for it. So I never run an event by itself. Or by myself. I always have at least one other person, no matter how big or how small it is, at least one other person with me at all times, because for a lot of reasons, if there's no activity at your booth, it's always nice to have somebody in front of the booth that's kind of like interacting with people and driving them into the booth. And then once the booth starts to get moving and active, it's nice to have at least 2 people behind that are both constantly helping customers and answering questions. So 2 is a bare minimum. If you have a big event, you might even think about 3 to 4 people at once running the booth. You're going to want to think about things like, what's the foot traffic like there? How long are the hours? Like if it's a 10-hour shift, you might want to break them up so that you have a morning crew and a night crew. If it's hot, your morning crew, you don't need as many people. Like here in Arizona, if we have like a show that starts at noon and it runs till 10 at night, I can almost guarantee you, and like let's say it's in April, in most parts of the country April sounds fantastic, but in here it's like the entrance to hell. It's like you don't know if it's going to be hot. More than likely it will be. So from 10 to like 2 in the afternoon, you're not going to get hardly anybody at that vendor show. Like it's going to be dead if it's outside. And so you don't want to overstaff at that time. So just know the event, know your weather, know what the traffic's going to be like, and then staff appropriately for that. But then comes inventory. Because you're never working a show alone, you are always going to be working with 2 people's inventories, right? Or more. So people do this all different kinds of ways. Some people will trade off sales, like for every, like for instance, if you have 2 people, you can have one person back in the booth and one person at the front of the booth pushing people in. And then the person that's working the booth takes a sale. As soon as they get their sale, then you switch. Now the problem with that is sometimes you get stuck in the booth with somebody that just wants to try on every color in the world and never intends to buy anything. Or maybe the person that's in the booth is just really shy and timid and not very good at sales. And so the person that is good at sales is the one standing out in front waiting to get into the booth. So that can be a little bit not always the best way to do things. I've also seen girls that they all say, okay, we are all contributing 20 glosses, 50 colors, and 20 oops to the pot. And they all bring all of the stuff and they put it in the pot, and then they just sell from it. They just, whoever comes, we just sell, and at the end of the night, they just divide it out evenly amongst whoever worked for that day. The biggest problem with that one is who collects the money. Like if you're using a Square account, you're going to need like a general Square account that everybody can use, and then you can pay out everybody through that. And then you just take from the pot what's left over, you just divide that back out to everybody equally from what's left. So that's a way that people use it. I particularly, I've done it all different ways, and for me, I just kind of let the girls grab their customers and bring them in. If there's a girl that's more aggressive and she has a lot of stock and she's gonna go out and bring the customer in and she's gonna make the sale and she's quick and she's good at upselling, she deserves a bigger sale in my opinion than the girl who's shy and sitting back and not drawing people in and saying, okay, you don't have to buy a gloss with that, I'll give you a sample packet. Like, I don't know. It's up to every individual person. I just feel like I like rewarding the girls who are actually out there, who bring a fair amount of stock, who come out there with the gusto that if they want to make $500 or $600 or $700 in a few hours, they're going to do it. So that's how I run mine. Not everybody does it that way. There's a lot of different ways that you can. Those are the three most popular ways, either rotating the sales, putting all of the stock in a pot, or just having it a free-for-all, and you just have to learn to be aggressive in terms of, I mean, not aggressive, and I guess it's like such an aggressive word, aggressive, but you just have to be a go-getter at these things. You know, you can't sit back and let other people do the work and then expect the same results. So that's why I like doing it that way, but you can do it any way you want. And I always love, like if you are an upline and you have somebody that's newer or struggling, or you know that they haven't moved stock in a while and you're like, what's going on? It's like, always reach out to them first and get them there, because you're going to be able to train them while you're there. You're going to be able to help them move their stock, and then you're going to be able to bond with them too, which is going to get them closer to you, which is going to make them want to stick with you as a business partner longer and really try to make this work. So one of the biggest, I think, things that people don't take advantage though at vendor shows is that you're there to make sales. Yes, like we all want to move our product. You might move a couple $100s at a vendor event. You might move a few $1,000s at a vendor event. It's really not a guarantee. But what it is a guarantee is that there's going to be a lot of people there. And a lot of people there means there's going to be a lot of people for you to collect their information. So having a giveaway, a way for people to add themselves into your database, is a must. And you have to get people into your booth, even if they don't want to try the product on at that moment, even if they don't want to hear your amazing spiel or showing them that it doesn't come off. Even if they are not interested in any of that, people are so interested at these vendor events and winning things. So have a way to collect your information from them, at least a name, a phone number, and an email address. I also have text messages set up. Like I have a text number, I have a keyword and a text number. So like, and it's on a card. I have a business card with my keyword and the text, and I tell them, hey, text this number, and then I'm going to do a giveaway to a lucky winner, or there's a coupon if you text this number, or whatever it is. But have a way to collect a lot of information, and set a goal. Set a goal to be like, okay, today I'm going to add 100 people into my database, and then have a plan to follow up with those people, because like Leslie says, the fortune is in the follow-up. It's totally true. The biggest asset that you're going to get at any vendor event, any vendor show, is the relationships that you're going to make and the contacts that you're going to get. So far above like worrying about how much stock and how we're going to split sales and things like that, figuring out how to collect the information is going to be key. For me, tell us how. So, how do you set up a text number? Okay, so I have a text, it's called Sire, SIRE.com, I think is the one I use. A lot of people use different ones, but you basically can buy a keyword, and so mine is like AZ Lip Girl. And then on my card it says like, on the front it says like, have you seen that magic lip sense? And then on the back it says text AZ Lip Girl, and then it's to 49392. And then, so they text that number, and then they get back like a coupon from me, or whatever. I can change the message. So if I'm going to a vendor event, I can change it to be specific to that event or whatever. So nice to see you at the Ostrich Festival today. Enjoy 15% off of your next purchase. So you just look for text message marketing, but the one I use is Sire, SIRE.com. That's a really great way to collect people's information who don't want to sit there and fill out a form, or who just are like, oh, whatever, I'll take your card. Sometimes they just see it and they're like, oh, a discount or a special or a free with purchase or something like that, and that'll make them try and reach out to you. So you're capturing a little bit more than had you just let them fill out a form. And I always ask for 2 pieces of contact, and I always tell them like you have to fill out both, because a lot of times people just like chicken scratch something and you're like, what is your name? What is that email? Like, the only thing I can tell is that it starts with a J and it ends at a Yahoo. I'm like, that's not helpful. So, and everybody wins giveaways. Did you know this? So if you have a giveaway, let's say it's for a beauty makeover, that's a great one because you're not giving away product. So like, have them be like, it's a beauty makeover giveaway. Every single person that you contacted that you collected their information, you are going to contact them within 24 hours and tell them that they won that beauty giveaway, and that you are going to set up a beauty demonstration with them, and these are the days that you have available, and when do they want you to come over and see them. A lot of people won't answer you, but you're going to get a lot of demos from it. When they text the number, it automatically responds to them, correct? Yes. So I preset up like what I want it to say to them. So when they text the number, they text the keyword to the number, it'll send them automatically whatever I've had it set up to. So and like I said, you can change that. You can put a link to your Senna site onto it. You can create a Google form. So you can say like, text this number to enter our giveaway. And then when it texts them, it says, okay, complete this form for our giveaway. And you can have all of that kind of stuff set up for it. But definitely collect information and follow up. Like, information sitting on your desk, oh, I'll put it in, I'll do this. That is not going to get you your business growing, ladies. And I always email and phone call and text them. If I get their information, I tell them that they've won the giveaway. I ask them when they want me to set up their beauty demo, and then I also add them into our back office, our customer. It's so late and I can't remember it. But in our back office, you can add your customers, and then they get the company's emails from us. So they're getting touched by Senegence, by LipSense, by you, in all of these different ways, and you can actually create a sustainable campaign that's going to touch them every month, every 2 weeks, every whatever you guys want to do. But that is where your fortune is. That is where you get people who start to bond with you, who start to recognize you, and these are your cold markets, so you are not having to go out there and bug your aunt to join you for the 55th time. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to just give you guys was a really quick thing, a list of things to bring. So you obviously want to bring your table and your tablecloths. I always bring at least 2, maybe even 3 tables. You want 1 table for the front, but you also want 1 in the back where you can set up your stock and have like a wrapping station, I guess, like, because you want to have something back that's easy to like get into your stock and package your products and then deliver them to them. You want to bring shade, so your tent, your tarp, sidewalls, in case you're like next to someone else you don't want to be next to, or the sun's really bad coming in on the side. Always make sure you have some sidewalls with you. Cool towels, like if you're in a really hot area, like having cool wraps and stuff is necessary. If you're in somewhere really cold, obviously heaters and blankets and things like that. Bring an ice chest full of ice and drinks and snacks to keep you moving throughout the day, so that you're not spending your entire earnings on fair food, I mean, unless you really want to do that. Extension cords, everybody forgets them. Bring your extension cords, bring a splitter so that you can hook multiple things up into it, and lights. Because if you're working a night event, you need good lights. You want people to be able to see the color well. You want them to see it on themselves. You want them to be able to judge if they like the color. So good lighting, like light it up like it's the Taj Mahal, like light up that place. Mirrors, testers, applicators, your witch hazel, your glossy packets. Alcohol pads I always bring because they can take, like if they're testing it on their skin, you know, you can use the alcohol wipes to take them off. It also helps, like if you have that crazy person that like gets stuff all over the place. I take like an applicator and I rub it on the alcohol pad, and then you can clean up the edges. And it's at vendor events, it's way easier than Oops to do that, and it's not gonna like sink into their lips and like make the other color run. So that, and then baby wipes for when they get sticky fingers from the glossy, a Neutrogena bar, your lookbooks, your packaging, your beauty books, your opportunity books, any marketing material that you have, your business cards, all of that stuff. Don't forget any of that. Okay, I'm going to answer questions here. SireMobile.com. It might be, I just know it's Sire. I think it's just SIRE.com, but it could be Sire Mobile. Do you find it's better to not actually have people actually try on the colors and just swatch them on their hands instead? I'm worried it'd get crazy trying to babysit everyone while they're not doing it. Okay, so I never put, first of all, okay, never put any unopened product out on your front table, ever. Your unopened product should always stay behind because people will start picking it up and opening it up, and then you have a bunch of product that's open. So I'm just going to say that too. And then I always keep my testers behind me, like I keep them back so that people can't just pick up testers, and then I have like my little rings of books and stuff out in the front. Okay, so and then the other thing, I let them, I usually tell them to try on colors on their hands first until they find the one that they want to wear, and then I'll say, okay, now that we found the one, now we'll put it on your lips if you're interested in trying it out. Some people really do want to try it out because they just really need to know that it's not going to irritate their lips. They want to really see if it works all day. So I do definitely let them try it on their lips, but I definitely do the hands 90% of the time until they find the color that they want. I also never let them change the color on their lips. Like, I tell them, like, once we put this color on, it's going to stay, so we're not changing it, because otherwise you'll get people like, ooh, I want to take this off and I want to try on another one, and then they want to take that off and they want to try another one, and that gets chaotic. So that's just my, if somebody's like kind of torn between two, like at most I'll say, okay, we'll do one color on the top and one color on the bottom, and that's how I do that. So do you guys have any other questions for me? And I would be happy to answer them, and I hope like that definitely helps you guys a little bit. Vendor events are so much fun, and they are such a good tool to use if you use them correctly and if you go in with the correct expectations of them. I know some girls go in and they think they're gonna sell thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and I always tell my girls, like, the value in these events is getting yourself in front of these people, so don't let them walk by you without getting their information. You want control of the contact with them, so get as much information as you possibly can from your vendor events, and that will be helpful. Where did you order tablecloths and posters? So my tablecloth I got off of Etsy, I think it was, and then posters, I just take all of the graphics from the back office, and then I printed them out at like FedEx, and Vistaprint also does really good ones too that are pretty cheap. So advertising materials like the large banners, Vistaprint, I got mine, and if you wait for Vistaprint, they usually have like 25 to 30% off coupons. All of the graphics are already designed for you in the back office, so just download the files, upload them into Vistaprint or FedEx or Kinko's, and then just have them printed and picked up. I don't know what a good price range for a booth would be. What's average? That depends on the event. So like a school event that's like a small, like, you know, they might have a couple hundred people coming and it's more of like a fundraiser opportunity. those ones I usually are like small donation, like a raffle prize, or 10, 15, 20, 25 bucks. Big city fairs and things like that can range anywhere from $100 to $300, $400, $500. A big bridal show or like a multi-day fair or event like that, that can be in the thousands. So it just depends on how many hours the event runs, how many days, what the foot traffic is for them. I can tell you the bigger events. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you guys, some events are going to require that you guys have your own tax license numbers and business insurance. And so if you ever run across that, I always tell my girls, like, get your tax licenses anyways because it's better for you guys, but that's a whole nother story. But you want to be aware that if you do go with some of the big events, you're going to need those things. I was looking into one that attracts up to 10,000 people and it was 1,500. Yeah, that totally, I mean, it just depends. 3 days long, that, I mean, so you average that out, it's like $500 a day. So you probably, maybe the Friday booth is like $300, and then Saturday and Sunday booths were like $750 or $650 or something like that. Yeah, so again, it just really depends on the event. We did like a 3-day event that was a pretty big city fair, and that one was, I think, $1,275. And then there was a bridal show that was $2,500. So, plus on top of that, then you had insurance, which for a show we just do annual insurance, but that's like $900 a year that we pay for that. So there are definite expenses to it. So definitely, like I was saying earlier, start smaller and then kind of like see if it works for you and build it up. So I hope that helps you guys, and I am going to go snuggle with my babies, and it was so nice to meet you guys. And if you guys have any questions about that, you can always leave messages, and then Kristen can let me know and I can answer them for you, or you can reach out. So lastly, where do you get business insurance? I got my business insurance through the same people that I had my homeowner's insurance through. They gave me, I called around and stuff, and it was pretty expensive, so they gave me a pretty good deal for being able to bundle it together. And you want to make sure that, like, if you do get a big event, that you want to make sure exactly what they want the insurance to entail. Some of them will be like $1 million coverage, some of them will be $2 million, but it's split up between things. So if somebody's asking you for business insurance, ask them for a copy of exactly how it should be written and to whom it should be covering. Because sometimes they'll have you cover the city, the property, the event coordinator, the event management company. So there's a lot of different stuff that you have to worry about. But those are the bigger ones. Littler ones, you usually don't have to worry about it. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you later. And I hope that you guys are all recovering from leaders, because I am going to go sleep for another day. I feel like I need it. So, all right, you guys, have a good night.